Down go the champs. The Oklahoma City Thunder have dropped to San Antonio in a thrilling Game 7. So I'm going to give you guys my recap and analysis of the game. And if you stick around, I will give you who I think my MVP for specifically Game 7 is. I'm not going to debate who should have won Western Conference Finals MVP. I think that one was pretty clear-cut. There's no arguing it. So, first quarter, Victor Wembanyama, they tried to put Chet in to take the jump ball with him, which, seeing as how the game turned out, kind of funny, but as the rest of the ones went, Wemby got all 7 in the series, and he was making plays early. The defensive gravity that he had, players were genuinely avoiding him in the paint, and they were making extra passes, and on the offensive end, he was hitting shots, he was getting in the paint, getting rebounds. He didn't have as many blocks as he usually does, but he still made a presence. The contesting shots, and because he's tall, his contests are a lot better just naturally because of his size. And Stephon Castle had some great effort early, and he had a good putback, which showed that. And overall, he had a strong start to the game, so shout out Stephon Castle. And the whole San Antonio team, they were playing some stifling defense early, and the turnovers that they were forcing early, they were really limiting Oklahoma City from being able to get into a rhythm, and it took them a while. In particular, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had a slow start. He did pick it up in the second, third quarter, fourth quarter as well, but first quarter he had only 6 points, and with how the rest of the starters played tonight, somebody get this man some help, bro. And I'm not talking about the refs. I want, actual players helping him. And I'm going to touch on that more later, but it was just, oh my God. And they did try to switch it up to put Cason Wallace in the starting lineup instead of Jared McCain, because once again, AJ Mitchell and J-Dub were both injured. But yeah, and I think Cason Wallace was the right choice for the starter, just based on how the game played out. Again, I'll touch on that later. And in the second quarter, now that we get into that, Victor Wembanyama, again, making plays throughout. His offensive gravity, he was getting double-teamed, triple-teamed. They were fighting him hard for the boards, and because they were fighting him, he was able to get open guys. Something that they were doing, they were running this 45 action, I think it's called, where they'll have the power forward screen for the center, and those two guys, they'll kind of run a pick and roll off of each other. And because of Victor Wembanyama being as big as he is and just being a lob threat, they need to double team him off of that pick and roll, and they still need to respect the guy at the top of the screen. So they'll either throw it to Wembanyama, let him get downhill, or they can just throw it to somebody in the corner or off the wing for an open 3. And they were running that again and again and again, and the Oklahoma City Thunder just could not stop it. Like I said again, in the first quarter with the turnovers, Oklahoma City had double the turnovers, 8-4 in the first half, and the Oklahoma City bench, they did make an impact, but it was just the starters needed to contribute more to just help with that. Now that we get into the second half, Victor Wembanyama being a little bit more decisive with the ball. There were moments in the first quarter where he wasn't really sure what to do with it, and it gave Oklahoma City a little extra time to get their defense set and all. And Julian Champagnie, he was playing out of his mind in the second half. He had 3 after 3 after 3. And like I said before, where the Thunder were not really giving Shai much help, between Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, Cason Wallace, and Lou Dort, they had 14 points at one point to SGA's 31. He had a good game, but when all 4 other starters are combining for 14 points, and Shai's having to do everything on his own, you're not going to win many games like that, especially with a team that is as deep as San Antonio, and they are not as deep as OKC, which is why I did think earlier today that they were going to win. But when you have a team that is just locked in and focused and not making many mistakes, you need to have either a generational one-man performance, or you're just not going to win when that's how it's going. Also, De'Aaron Fox had a great game. He was he wasn't putting up 50, but he did put up enough where for someone that wasn't doing much this series, him showing up really helped push the team over the edge. Going into the game, he was abysmal from three, but this game he showed up in a big way. Also, the Spurs' effort off the glass, they got a couple of fouls in a row off of that. They ended up getting a foul because Keldon Johnson went and got a massive rebound over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and then they got a second board where Victor Wembanyama got a loose ball foul off of Isaiah Hartenstein, pulling him down. So their effort was just consistent all game. They were playing like it was a game 7. And Jalen Williams, he had a bit of an impact off the bench in the third quarter, knocked down a few threes, and he was making his presence felt for about 5 minutes. Now that we get into the fourth quarter, this was absolutely insane. Jared McCain and Cason Wallace tried to claw their team back into it. Cason Wallace had a 15-point fourth quarter, and Jared McCain, that man went ice cold the rest of the quarter after making a couple shots. And Keldon Johnson and Victor Wembanyama, they really weathered the storm, answering back when they needed to. Victor Wembanyama had a nice step back three, and that whole first couple minutes where OKC was starting to heat up from three, it was mainly Keldon Johnson and Victor Wembanyama making plays in the clutch to just keep OKC at bay and not let them take a lead. Also, it seemed like there was a play, Alex Caruso went for a dunk over Wemby, and this drew his 5th foul of the game, and it seemed like Caruso was starting to get hurt because he went up at an angle and kind of caught the rim and twisted his wrist a little bit, and immediately after he missed the first free throw and made the second one, but the more important part of it was it put Victor Wembanyama in big foul trouble with about 8 minutes to go, so they ended up taking him out of the game for a little bit, and Luke Kornet came in. Now, I know Luke Kornet didn't have a ton of points or a ton of rebounds. He didn't have a stat-stuffing night, but he had the play of the game. He went up. Isaiah Hartenstein got a nice pass off of a bad turnover, and Luke Kornet comes up from behind, and with probably the best playoff block since blocked by James, he genuinely shifted the momentum for the last 5 to 6 minutes, and it was just insane. It really shifted the momentum, and this is when Jared McCain started just chucking up bricks to help make some brick houses, and Spurs had an insane effort. Like I said before, they closed out the game very strong. Also, like I said before, with starters just being genuinely bad, Chet Holmgren, what were you doing tonight, man? 4 points, and we both had the same amount of shots in the second half. He had... Bro, you were garbage this game, bro. And as the Spurs started to pull away, Dylan Harper dropped the dagger and knocked down the defending champs. Now, Victor Wembanyama, deservingly so, got the Western Conference Finals Magic Johnson Trophy to become the Western Conference Finals MVP at 22 years old. He earned that trophy. He had such a brilliant impact on the game. Without him, this team would not even make the playoffs. I will stand on that. Y'all can fight me on it, but without Victor Wembanyama, this team literally doesn't even come close to the playoffs. I don't even think they make the play-in. And like I said before, not a lot of points, not a lot of rebounds, but for my MVP of just this game alone, Game 7 on the line, I think the MVP for me would go to Luke Kornet if they had to give it out based on just this one game. So let me know what you think about the video down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.